Hello all and welcome. I'm the MGTOW philosopher. Should I say welcome back? Because hopefully you're viewing this because you've watched part 2. This is a continuation of that video and we're going to pick up right where we left off. So let's continue, shall we?
God, I refuse to believe this is an accurate representation of the movement.
Okay, first of all, it's not a movement. It's men going their own way. Hence, many will have their own views. Just because we're all MGTOW doesn't mean that we all share the same beliefs. It also doesn't mean that if many of us share many of the same beliefs that we're by default a group because we just happen to have had some of the same life experiences. You see, that's your mistake and a misrepresentation on your part based on a misunderstanding that you have about MGTOW. It's not a movement.
Let's find somebody else, somebody with more authority to their name. Here we go. The mayor of MGTOW.
Okay, so the mayor of MGTOW is also not a major content producer. He has somewhere in the range of 9,000 subscribers, and that's over a 1.5-year period. So it's not a ton of subscribers. And keep in mind that this video that Armoured Skeptic made was made a year ago. Hence, a year ago, the guy probably had half the subscribers he had now. You see, he's always picking on the little guy, basically the lowest hanging fruit. That's what I keep saying. It seems to be a recurring theme with this guy. And I don't buy into his statement that he's doing it just for comedy.
This is going to be good.
My journey to MGTOW doesn't start up here. It starts down below. Let's go for a drive, gentlemen.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to go for a drive. I gotta pick up some milk anyways.
This is the mayor of MGTOW. Fuck yeah, I love the cult.
You love the cult? Keep that one in mind, everybody.
We're up here in the hall.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. It's a song, pal, okay? MGTOW's not a cult. I made a video called Is MGTOW a Cult? I doubt this guy will watch it. I hope you guys do. I will put the link to it in the description so you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. It's an entire whole video on its own, so I'm not going to basically talk about the entirety of its content just to refute his point in this video. It would be a much longer video if I did that. It would take forever. Anyhow, let's continue.
Hollywood Hills, discussing my journey.
Why are we yelling?
Because he's in a sports car and the top is down and the wind is blowing, genius.
My very long journey to MGTOW.
Loud noises!
I didn't know I was a MGTOW for the longest time.
How could you have been part of a reactionary movement without even knowing that it existed?
Okay, so that's the dumbest thing I've heard this guy say. First, he shows his ignorance when he says it's a movement. No, MGTOW is a phrasal verb, and the definition for a man going his own way, that's it. As for how he can be MGTOW and not know, it's not a movement or a group that he belongs to. Just like a man can be a man, and even if he did not know the word man, he's still a man. This guy doesn't understand what men going their own way is. He's confused an anagram with a collective movement or group. Watch my videos to learn more, specifically the one that is entitled, What is MGTOW?
I was always an MRA on some level, and the reason why is because growing up here in Hollywood, I saw the most plastic, nasty, arrogant women that you get in the whole world.
I can actually see that. Being surrounded by a culture of plastic, fake, mean women, I too would probably want to be in some way openly opposed to that culture, or at very least in support of men who are a victim to this culture.
At the time, I knew I had to strive for success, to compete, to get the attention of these women.
Wait, whoa. Why would you want these women's attention? Didn't you just say that they were horrible people? You said...
Okay, so he's talking, the guy in the video, Mayor MGTOW, is talking about when he was a blue-pilled simp. He's not talking about the present tense, he's talking about the past. He's talking about when he was a blue-pilled simp as opposed to the red-pill man he is now, a man who sees the reality of the world. You see, you're being intentionally intellectually dishonest here when you misrepresent the hows and whys of his going MGTOW, as well as the time frame that he's speaking within. He was talking about the past and what he was then, not what he is now in the present.
They were shallow, arrogant bitches. Why would you want shallow, arrogant bitches?
What I saw...
He was talking about how he did when he was younger, and then he red-pilled himself. Stop being so intellectually dishonest by misrepresenting things.
Growing up.
Of course, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to make a video to begin with, and this whole video was one giant straw man argument anyway, based on the false premise that MGTOW is a movement or a group, which is the only way that you could make this video in the first place. But let's continue.
Was disgusting to me. I think part of my journey to MGTOW originated from my own mother.
Oh no. Are we going straight for the mommy issues?
The way my mother treated my father used to go out and bust his fucking ass every single day. And what did my mom do? My mom went out and spent his money and just fucking basically did nothing. And when he got home, basically ordered him around the house.
Honestly, that does make me feel bad for your father.
Okay, so we've got some fake sympathy on his part. And, of course, now him arguing or saying that it's because of his mother. Oh, yeah, you went MGTOW because your mother was horrible. That's why you're MGTOW. Yeah, you didn't actually have a good reason, implying that there are no real good reasons. Or if there are, you didn't have those good reasons. And you're a representation of the majority, the mainstream of MGTOW men. Yeah, you had no other good reason. So he's implying that this fellow, Mayor MGTOW, was misguided because he had a bad childhood experience, bad family experiences with his mother, the old trope that, oh, it all goes back to your mother. Intellectually lazy on the part of this fellow. Let's continue.
Mother was the queen, and my father was the simp.
Okay, so all women are bitches because your mother was a bitch. Got it.
Maybe...
No. You said that. He didn't say that. He didn't say it was because of his mother. He's relating what was one of his first experiences, and you're implying that that experience somehow tainted or somehow corrupted his view of women for all time going into the future, and that's why he's MGTOW. But you're making a lot of assumptions there. That's a lot of presupposing that you're doing, okay? You can't say, oh, just because his mother was horrible, so now I'm going to conclude that that's the reason at the age of 35 or 38, whatever he is, that he's MGTOW now. Well, what about the time frame in between then and now? You don't know what happened then. You're making a big assumption based on a total lack of evidence of what happened in between. You can't say, oh, that's why he went MGTOW. But that's exactly what you're saying. That's intellectually dishonest on your part. And that's not what he was saying. Anyway, you said that, not him.
I was lucky in that every fucking friend of mine, every mother was a bitch, and they wound up either divorced or they were miserable and they didn't get along.
That doesn't sound even remotely lucky. It sounds like you grew up in an extremely toxic environment.
I don't think that's what he's saying. Again, you're being intellectually dishonest. You're misrepresenting him. What he's saying is he might have been lucky because at least his parents stayed together. It could have been worse, okay? He could have ended up living with just his mother without a father there to counterbalance things, okay? Single mothers are the absolute worst. By the way, notice how all his friends' parents got divorced? That's pretty good anecdotal firsthand evidence of how toxic marriage is in the modern West. And this was some time ago, by the way. It sounds like it's about 20 years ago. But of course, I need to say Nawalt after stating the fact that so many marriages failed. So this guy saw so many marriages fail. Now I have to give that caveat. Oh, well, not all women are like that. Yeah, I need to say that, Okay. Interesting. By the way, nice lead-in to try to blame all his views on his childhood instead of on his mother and all the other women he saw and how badly they acted. Of course, it has nothing to do with women. No.
I basically decided that I didn't want to fucking spend all my money on some dumb bitch. All these women, they were homely, they were fat, they were just the, you know, typical housewife that doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, I thought you were talking about plastic fake bitches. Now you're just describing the average mother. You know what happens to a woman after she has children, right?
Okay, so we have some apologetics here on the part of women. He sounds like a presuppositional apologist, Christian, who's indulging in apologetics. Very interesting. He's against that, but he's doing it here himself in regards to women. He's not talking about California women specifically who are plastic women who get plastic surgery. He's talking about women generally, not California women who are very vain. He's talking about women in a general sense. I think you knew that, and again, you're just misrepresenting. Let's continue.
Right? Her body can take a total shit.
We grew up in an apartment.
Interesting. I'm sorry, but I lived all over the world, and your little apologetics for women aside, you do seem to not understand that, no, women's bodies don't take a shit unless they choose for them to do so. I've lived all over the world. I know what happens to women if they have kids. And you saying that women turn to crap is just BS. Western women turn to crap because they don't take care of themselves. Asian women, however, have multiple kids and they stay thin. I can't tell you how many times over my life I've seen Asian women with multiple kids. And you know how common it is to see a fat Asian woman? Very uncommon. You know why? No feminism and no biased divorce laws that favor women. Again, you sound like a Christian apologist making all these defenses of and excuses for women. Let's move on. Next.
Down here in Hollywood. And my father was always just struggling to make ends meet. Meanwhile, my mother had just a huge rack.
Your mom had a huge rack. Do go on.
Of fucking shoes.
Oh, silly me. And here I am with my dick in my hand.
Basically whatever she wanted. And my father, he dressed like a pauper. So that whole lifestyle I knew was not for me.
It does sound, based on this story, that your father was being used by your mother. And it does sound like because you were raised in this environment, you did think that this is what women were like.
Here we go with the Nawalt argument. I knew it. You see, you assume that's the only influence he had in his life. Are you a shrink?
But did you not grow up and eventually realize, hey, not all women are my mother?
So
I knew it. I called it. Nawalt argument. Pathetic.
I was MGTOW for years and years without even knowing it.
That's not what MGTOW is. You are looking at the surface.
Oh, I love it. I love how this smug SOB is going to tell us, guys, who choose to go our own way, what MGTOW is. My God, he's arrogant. Wrong, genius. You're overanalyzing and overcomplicating it. You're ascribing qualities to MGTOW, which is just an anagram for a phrasal verb, men going their own way, that do not intrinsically exist. You see, this fellow, Armoured Skeptic, he's had many, many sycophants and yes men kissing his ass. So I think he's gotten to the point where he's used to being able to say whatever he wants without being unchallenged. Sorry, pal, but I'm challenging your words now. And you don't know what MGTOW is, and you're not going to tell me what it means to be a man going his own way. You're creating this ideological bent and trying to define MGTOW as an ideology, which it is not.
Of what MGTOW people do, and just assume that because you do the same thing, that makes you MGTOW. No. MGTOW isn't, I grew up with a shitty mom and I didn't want to marry a shitty woman. MGTOW is looking at...
Yeah, it can be that. It's a man going his own way. That's it. Man going his own way. You're trying to ascribe qualities and beliefs and ideological systemology to MGTOW, which doesn't exist. You're trying to create it for the purposes of a straw man argument so that you can then attack it. Because by itself, MGTOW is just old school bachelordom, okay? That's it. You show your arrogance and your ignorance.
The environment of the dating scene and the way that the judicial system and the political system backs up women in relationships over men and refusing to participate in that system.
I see. So because he didn't bring up those points, he's not a real MGTOW? So he didn't bring up those points. He's not real MGTOW. You know more than he does. You know more than all of us. I see. Wow, pal, you're one arrogant SOB. And by the way, how is he not going his own way? You have a definition for MGTOW that's an ideological one, full of beliefs and dogma. Nope. There's no preconditions required except that you go your own way, as you don't want to sacrifice for a woman. See, now you're telling us what preconditions we must meet to be MGTOW. You are telling us what preconditions we must meet. And you're unbiased? Really? Arrogant SOB.
It's not, oh, my mom was a bitch.
I'm 36 years old now.
Condescending dick.
And after years of knowing that I was not going to get married and that I was not going to fucking blow all my money on some dumb bitch, I've managed to do quite well.
Lots of people in the Western world, men and women alike, choose careers and financial success over relationships. This doesn't make you some sort of enlightened guru.
Wait, what? So now MGTOW are enlightened gurus? Excuse me? And that's not what you said before anyway. You need to make up your mind, pal. Either MGTOW, at the beginning of this video, he said MGTOW is only men going their own way. Right? Then his little floating devil, no boss, it's all you have to meet all these requirements, yada, yada, yada. And now he is arguing for the very requirements that he mocked and said were not MGTOW. You need to make up your mind, pal. Either MGTOW has just been going their own way, or MGTOW is an ideological, quote-unquote, movement that has its own belief system and its own ideology separate from its members. Make up your mind. All right, let's continue.
And you basically admitted that you know that you're not good enough to be with somebody who likes you for anything other than your money.
Wait. He never said that. He never said that. See, you're twisting his words to imply a meaning that wasn't given. He said he's tired of women who only care about money. That's about them, my man-hating, internalized, self-hating friend. That's not about him. Okay? I know you have a lot of internalized misandry going on, but... a lot of internalized misogyny, but, dude... that